On August 4th, 1892, a shadow fell over a quiet sitting room in Fall River. An unseen attacker approached a man resting on his sofa. Sometime before 11 a.m., that attacker struck the sleeping man in the head and face with a heavy, sharp-bladed weapon. The autopsy would later confirm at least 11 distinct, crushing blows. The man in this velvet-lined case is the victim, 69-year-old Andrew Borden. He was a highly successful businessman, known throughout the town for his vast wealth and his severe frugality. When police arrived and searched the upstairs guest bedroom, they discovered the body of Andrew's wife, 64-year-old Abby Borden. The blood evidence indicated she had been dead far longer than her husband. The killer had struck her at least 18 times. The violence occurred entirely within the walls of this large red brick Victorian house. Investigators found all the doors locked. The windows were intact. Nothing of value was taken. The physical evidence pointed toward an intimate, targeted butchery committed by someone already inside. To find the killer, detectives had to account for the exact movements of every single person living under the Borden roof that Thursday morning. The list of potentials vanished quickly. The family's maid, Bridget Sullivan, was outside washing windows. The older sister, Emma, was in a neighboring town. A visiting uncle, John Morse, had an airtight alibi placing him miles away. That left the younger daughter, 32-year-old Lizzie Borden, as the sole individual consistently placed on the property during both murders. The layout of the house and the timeline of the bodies created a grim mathematical certainty. If it was physically impossible for anyone else to have slipped in and out without detection, the daughter had to be the killer. As police dug into Lizzie's movements, they uncovered a disturbing pattern of behavior. Just days before the bodies were found, she had visited a local drugstore, attempting to buy prussic acid, a lethal poison. The pharmacist refused the sale without a prescription. When brought before a formal inquest, Lizzie's account of her morning shifted multiple times. She claimed she had spent a long period in the barn loft looking for fishing gear during the murders. Yet detectives found the thick layer of dust on the loft floorboards completely undisturbed. 3 days after the killings, Lizzie's sister caught her standing at the kitchen stove, tearing up a dress and feeding it to the flames. Lizzie claimed it was covered in old paint. Investigators saw a deliberate destruction of blood-stained evidence. Then, police searching the basement made their most significant discovery. Very deeply beneath a pile of fireplace debris, they pulled out a heavy-bladed weapon. This handleless hatchet head had been broken off and deliberately coated in a thick layer of ash, an attempt to disguise it among the surrounding soot. Detectives in 1892 lacked the ability to test for DNA or lift fingerprints, but the poison, the burning dress, the undisturbed dust, and the hidden blade formed a mountain of circumstantial evidence. To the men who arrested her, her guilt appeared absolute. The trial of Lizzie Borden began in June 1893, instantly becoming a national media spectacle. The prosecution walked into the courtroom confident they had the facts required to secure a rapid conviction. But the legal system immediately crippled their case. The presiding judge ruled that Lizzie's contradictory testimony from the inquest could not be heard by the jury. He then excluded all testimony regarding her attempt to purchase the prussic acid. The judge determined that trying to buy poison was legally irrelevant to a crime committed with an axe. Stripped of the most damning behavioral evidence, the defense weaponized the social hierarchies of the era. They argued to the all-male jury that a well-bred, church-going young woman of immense wealth was biologically incapable of such extreme, bloody violence. The trial shifted away from the physical facts of a double murder. Instead, it became an arena where the legal system protected the reputation of the local elite. Following the closing arguments, the jury retired to deliberate. They returned in less than 90 minutes. Not guilty. A free woman, Lizzie inherited a massive portion of her murdered father's fortune. She used it to purchase a sprawling new mansion in Fall River's most fashionable neighborhood, a home she named Maplecroft. But legal innocence did not buy social acceptance. She lived out her remaining decades in the exact same town, where neighbors and former friends shunned her in public. They silently knew she was a butcher. Over the past 130 years, researchers have floated theories involving wandering drifters and disgruntled business associates, yet none have ever produced conclusive evidence. Historians consistently return to the locked doors and the burned dress to identify Lizzie as the only logical suspect. Popular culture reduced the brutality of that morning to a tidy nursery rhyme, chanting that she gave her parents 40 whacks. The actual court records hold the verified reality: 11 strikes and 18. No one else was ever charged. The case survives as the documented reality of a killer who outmaneuvered the system, claimed the inheritance, and lived out her days in absolute, undisturbed freedom.